بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ما بعد، سائل يسأل فيقول: امرأة بلغت عمرها 13 سنة ولم تصم في تلك السنة جهلا منها، وبعد سنوات طويلة أي في آخر عمرها صامت ذلك الشهر، فهل تلزمها الكفارة أم لا، وما مقدارها؟ Question says, there's a woman who reached 13 years of age, and for one reason or another, and she didn't fast when she was 13. Out of ignorance, she was unaware, whatever the case may be, she didn't fast when she was 13. Okay? And many years later, towards the end of her life, she wanted to make up that missed Ramadan. She was 50, 60, 70, 80, Allahu Alam how old she was, but she realized that she missed that year when she was 13. Does she have to pay a kafara or not? And if so, what is the amount of the kafara? What is the exact expiation that she must pay? الجواب تلزمها الكفارة وذلك لأنها فرطت وأخرت الصيام سنوات، والكفارة لا تتكرر بتكرر السنوات بل كفارة واحدة، وهي طعام مسكين أي مقدار نصف صاع لكل يوم، فعن الشهر 15 صاعا من البر أو من الأرز الذي هو قوت معتاد الآن تخرجها وتعطيها المساكين. Question states, yes, she has to pay kafara. And the reason why she has to pay the kafara is because she was negligent and she delayed the fasting for many years. Next point he states, and the kafara, the expiation, doesn't repeat. It isn't repetitive. Alright? Rather, it's just one kafara that she has to pay. Even though there are many years in which she delayed the fasting, delayed making up the fasting, she only has to make one kafara. And that kafara, he says, is to feed a needy person, a miskin. A miskin. That miskin, they are to be given as a minimum, at least half of a sa'. Half of a sa'. We know that a sa' is 4 hand scoops, 4 double hand scoops. So the obligatory amount that you would give them would be 2 hand scoops. Grain, rice, etc. And obviously in the United States and other parts of the world, most people, or not most, but many people would choose to feed the poor person. So if you're going to feed them, and in most cases it's going to be more than 2 hand scoops, a small meal, a basic meal, so on and so forth. But the base necessity is 2 hand scoops, nisf sa', half of a sa' of something which is a staple food of the land. If you were in North Africa, it will be couscous. Couscous. If you were in Bangladesh, it would be rice. If you were wahakadha, the staple basic food of the country, as a minimum, as a what? As a minimum, a bare minimum. He then states, فَعَنِ الشَّهْرِ 15 صَاعًا. So 1 month would be 15 sa'. 15. Every day is what? Half. The month, approximately 30 days, it would equal 15 full sa'as. 15 4 scoops. Whether it be wheat, rice, whatever is the staple food of the land, the staple food of the country, and which she is to give to the poor. The fatwa then states, وَمَعْلُومٌ أَنَّ الْمَرْأَةَ إِذَا بَلَغَتْ فَقَدْ كُلِّفَتْ وَبُلُوغُهَا يَكُونُ بِالْحَيْضِ فَتَصُومُ إِذَا حَاضَتْ وَلَوْ عُمْرُهَا 9 سِنِينَ. He says it is well known that when a woman reaches sexual maturity, when she reaches of age, she is responsible for her deeds. She's held liable for her Islamic responsibilities. Prayer, fasting, zakah, hajj, lowering the gaze, etc., etc. Anything that's wajib, anything that's haram, anything that the other Muslims have to do, the woman, she is responsible for doing those things when she reaches maturity. And she reaches maturity bil hayd, he says, by menstruation. So when she gets her monthly cycle, she gets her period, she is now an adult in Islam. She's an adult in Islam. And therefore, she must fast when she's menstruating, when she's sexually mature, even if she's only 9 years old. So many people, they think that it's based off of her age. She's only 9, she doesn't have to wear khimar yet. Or she's 10, or she's 11, she's 12, she's still young. And that's incorrect. The age is used when a woman doesn't get her menstruation. Then where does it begin? For argument's sake, she's late. She didn't get her menstruation at the age of 15. Does she become an adult at 15? Some scholars say 15, and some say 18. Okay, a man who doesn't have a wet dream, he doesn't grow pubic hair, okay, then he reaches 15. Then he reaches 16 or 17. Then we use the age. But if the signs of puberty come before the age, then that person is an adult. Even before a specific what? Age. Even before the specific. So the sign is stronger than the age. All right? The age is not dominant. The age is the last resort. For argument's sake, a woman didn't get a menstruation, what would be weird or peculiar. 15, 16, she didn't get a period. Then we go to the age. Some scholars say 15, some may say after 15. But if she gets it before the age of 15, then she's an adult in Islam, in the Islamic rulings. The fatwa then states, كما قالت عائشة إذا بلغت الجارية 9 سنين فيه امرأة يعني إذا وجد من تحيض ولو بنت 9 فما فوق فإنها تكلف وتؤمر بالصوم. He says, as Aisha radiallahu anha has stated, that when a young girl reaches 9 years of age, she is a woman. Aisha said she's a woman when she's 9, meaning if she menstruates. Even if she's still small and even if she's still young. But if she has a monthly cycle, Islamically she's a woman. And she is responsible for anything that a 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old woman is responsible for. He says, this means that if she menstruates, even if she's only 9, she is mukallafa. There's taklif. She's held liable for her deeds. And she is ordered to fast. وَأَهْلُهَا لَا يُرَخِّصُونَ لَهَا فِي الْإِفْطَارِ. And her family, they aren't allowed. They are prohibited from allowing her to eat and drink in Ramadan. She's small, she's young, give her a break. Oh no, that's impermissible. She must fast at that age. وَالصَّبِيُّ بُلُغُهُ بِالِاحْتِلَامِ وَلَوْ ابْنَ 10 سِنِينَ فَإِذَا احْتَلَمَ كُلِّفْ وَأُمِرَ بِأَنْ يَصُومَ. And the boy child, he reaches sexual maturity with a wet dream when he becomes aware and interested in the opposite sex, even if it's only 10 years old. So when he has that dream, he is held responsible. He is ordered and commanded to fast. وَلَا يُتَسَاهَلُ مَعَهُ فِي تَرْكِ الصَّوْمِ وَقَبْلَ الْبُرُوغِ صَوْمُهُ مِنْ بَابِ التَّنَفُّلِ. But people aren't allowed to be laxed and easygoing in this matter. You cannot say, oh, next year he's still young. He's immature. He's still a kid. Right? La. As far as before sexual maturity, then it's recommended for the child to fast and not obligatory. And that's the end of the fatwa here. And of course, the recommendation of encouraging children to fast, that way you groom them into the ibadah. So when it's mandatory, it isn't too much of a struggle and a push. And that's a mistake that many of us as parents make. We make this mistake. And then we have to fight with the child when the child is going through puberty and the hormones are up and down, the mood swings, and then it's a struggle. And the child has formed his or her identity, style, fashion. I want boys to look at me, etc., etc. Then it's hard for her to wear their abaya. And it's hard for the son to learn, son, you have to lower your gaze. You cannot look at that, it's impermissible. Son, you cannot play this video game, you can't do this. So the father, the mother, they were supposed to be doing these things when the child was before puberty. And in the Arabs, they say, إنما تقبل الطينة الختم وهي رطبة. إنما تقبل الطين الختم وهي رطبة. You can only fabricate, you can only manipulate the clay when it's what? Soft. When it's soft and wet. Right? That's the only time in which you can make the pottery. You have to make the pottery, you spin it, you mold it when it's still what? Wet. When the pottery, when it's dry and hard, it's not much that you can do. So back in the day, you were a young child, you would see the cement truck come. The people putting down the cement, right? The big truck, your little kid, you have fun, you see it spinning. And today the cement comes out and they have on the big rubber boots and they're laying down the cement, laying down the pavement. And as a young child, you wait for them to go and you would do what? You would write your name on the sidewalk. But you knew as a young child that you could only write your name on the sidewalk when? As soon as they left. Because once the cement hardens, it's solid. So you understand the mindset? You can't mold something when it's what? When it's too hard. You have to do the molding when it's still fresh and soft. And that's the child. 5, 6, 7, 8, masjid, salat. You teach them stand still. You teach them to stand still. So when they're in puberty, they're trained how to stand still. Wearing the hijab is easy because I've been wearing the hijab since little وهكذا. This fatwa was given by Sheikh al-Jibreen, rahimahullah ta'ala.
Sheikh, so this kafara is only one-time payment for all of the day a person missed for that one month. The kafara the person has to pay for the past, it's just one time.
هو على حسب. You can split it up or do it at once.
Once means 1 month you
Yeah, just one time.
Oh, okay.
For that 13th year.
Would
One
that
day.
apply for salah as well? If somebody has missed their salah, even though they know they have to pray their salah and they haven't prayed their salah for that.
Understood. There's no specific dalil that I've read, Allahu Alam, making a kafara for missed prayer. The fastings, kafarat, are specifically mentioned. And of course, if a Muslim doesn't pray for a long time, or some scholars say doesn't pray at all, one prayer, that person could be considered a non-Muslim. But for argument's sake, you believe that the person is still a Muslim, even though they're sinful, extremely sinful, very dangerous, and they've abandoned prayer for many years, and they want to come back. Wallahu alam, tell them to make repentance, and khalas, that's it. Because if they have to make up 5 years of prayer, 10 years of prayer, that may push them from making repentance. And the shaitan could whisper to them and say, it's hopeless. There's no time that you're going to, so make Toba and move forward. Wallahu ta'ala alam.